Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Boiler Breaks. Boiler Breaks is presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. I'm your host, Rob Blackman, and this week our guest is head basketball coach Matt Painter, kind enough to give us a couple of minutes as we talk Purdue men's basketball. Coach Painter, thanks for the time. Hope that you and your family are both safe and well. I want to jump right into it because we do have a somewhat breaking news here. As we're recording this interview, less than 48 hours ago, the NCAA announced that starting June 1st, players in basketball and football, if they want, voluntarily can report back to campus to begin doing workouts on campus. So first question here is how does that affect your team?
Well, I think, with us, we don't start our summer school until a couple weeks after that, but it allows our guys to get back, on their own, just kind of get in the swing of things, still waiting for kind of the parameters of what that looks like, what they can and can't do in a voluntary workout, how many people can be there, those type of things. So, but I think it's a good first step for us, and just waiting to kind of see our guardrails on kind of the do's and the don'ts.
Do you anticipate most of the guys coming back then and being a part of this if everyone's allowed to do so?
Yeah, I would think so. Like, unless somebody just has something, that they need to be at in the first part of June. And I know a couple of them could be a little bit late just because of some high school graduation type stuff. So if that's the case, we always have understood that. They don't have all-star games. Sometimes it's, guys are playing in all-star games, and so now you don't have things of that nature. So, but I think more than anything, whether it's a returning player or an incoming player, everybody's chomping at the bit. Everybody's really excited about getting back into their routine.
Now, speaking of returning players, two guys that are not returning that I think may have certainly come as a surprise, Matt Harms and No-Gel Eastern. Two-part question here. How surprised were you when they told you they wanted to transfer? And secondly, your roster really is very unique now in the fact that, as it says right now, you have no seniors.
Right, no question. Yeah, I was surprised on both accounts. And, a lot of the things that, you have, and, I serve on a lot of committees, a lot of different things, and we talk about the student-athlete experience and what you want to get out of your experience. And, we're able to medal in the World University Games. We went to a couple Sweet 16s. We went to an Elite Eight, won a couple Big Ten championships, should have won 3 in a row. But like, if you said to somebody like, hey, this is what I experienced in my college careers, and that was your resume, people would say, man, you had an unbelievable experience. This is what everybody, tries to have. So when they leave in that situation after the experiences and the successes that we have, it's hard, because I want them to be able, I made the comment about being a Boilermaker, and, you might have your degree from there, but you're not a Boilermaker. Well, I want those guys to reap the benefits of their hard work, from all the people. If you just go to school and the only thing you get is a piece of paper and a degree, you have shortchanged yourself. When you go to school and you get your education, you should have a lot of contacts. And I think that's what Purdue does for you. Purdue gives you a lot of contacts within the coaching staff, within the athletic department, within our faculty, within our staff, within alumni. You just meet so many people that, that care about you, that want to see you do well. So when I made that comment, that's really what I was talking about. Like, I want those guys to reap those benefits. And then when you leave, it's just difficult. And I feel bad for our guys. I feel bad for the guys that are still here, because you want your older guys to be able to lead, your team, not leave your team. And, but I like both those guys, and I wish them well. But, it was a hard pill to swallow for myself, the coaching staff, and our players.
As you look ahead to this summer, the recruiting landscape has changed certainly dramatically. So often coaches at college basketball have a chance to see players involved in AAU. That doesn't look like it's going to be the case this year, or if it is the case, it's going to be a very limited AAU schedule. How is that affecting recruiting?
Well, for us, it's the same for everybody. So it's not going to be an advantage or a disadvantage, but you could be in a situation where you need more guys. And right now, like, we only have one scholarship for 2021. We have a couple open now, but those were going to be our ones in 2021. We already have a commitment in 21. So I think the thing that happens, like in our league, you can sign over one. I think it makes a lot of sense with the new landscape, especially if the one-time transfer goes through in the winter. to use that rule. Tubby Smith was someone who was a big advocate for that when he was at Minnesota, and it's worked. And it's worked for our league, and not a lot of people exercise it. I think you're going to see everybody exercise that rule because you're going to have more people, leaving. I think you just adjust. More than anything, you got to adjust and adapt when things are changing like that. But I wouldn't say you adjust to it or adapt to how you do things on a daily basis. I think you still got to coach guys and get guys to play well together and do all the little things. But recruiting is going to be interesting. But those factors are also going to be so important. I definitely think something will come through here, even though we're not going to be out in June and July, which has been documented. But I definitely think as some things unfold here, we're going to be doing some things in August, September, October. We just don't know when yet. Anybody who says that they do know is telling a story. It might be pointing in that direction. It might be leading in that direction, but nothing is for sure yet. But we're talking on all the boards and the committees about how this is going to look and trying to get all parties involved. So we can have some sort of a recruiting season this year, not necessarily for us, even though it does help, but for them. There's a lot of kids out there, especially kids that aren't high major kids, Division III, Division II, NAIA, low, mid-major kids. There's opportunities, and these guys need these opportunities, to get their school paid for and have a chance to play college basketball.
Hey, so I have to ask you, certainly during this quarantine, maybe the most popular television program for those who like basketball has been The Last Dance. And I'm certain you probably saw all 10 episodes. What's your take on The Last Dance? What did you think about it?
Well, it brings back a lot of things, and it kind of shows you the human mind in terms of what you remember and what you forget. And we all followed it. Well, at least I followed it. Basketball people you would think would follow that and follow Michael Jordan, and I did. But there were some things in there that I didn't, that I knew that I just didn't remember. And I thought that was the cool part about kind of refreshing your memory. But there's no two ways about it. He was competitive, and he stepped on a lot of toes, and he didn't care because he was there to win. And that's he's the most talented, and he's the best. But he also sacrificed a lot, and he handled himself in a certain way that he thought would give his team the best chance to win. And with that, it's interesting to hear some of the people say, they didn't like X, Y, and Z about it, but I don't think he really cared. He wanted those championships, and he said at the end, and he wanted that 7th championship. That's what was great. And guys that are like him, coaches are that way. Very rarely do coaches end their career the way they want. Because we want one more championship. We want one more run. And that never, when you're a competitive person, you're always going to feel that way. If they would have stayed together and got the 7th championship, he just would have won at 8. Right. Until somebody dethrones you or puts you in a position where you can't go any further, like competitive people like that are maniacal, they're just going to keep wanting more.
Well, Coach Painter, thanks for the time. Continued safety and good health for you and your family. And hopefully we can see you and the rest of the Boilermakers on campus very soon.
All right. Thanks, Rob.
All right. That's Purdue head basketball coach Matt Painter joining us on Boiler Breaks, presented as always by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. I'm Rob Blackman, reminding you to boiler up, hammer down, hail Purdue, and stay safe, everyone.